And it's not working. Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for coming. This is our first kind of regular all community meeting at Highwire Improv, following our launch meeting that we did at the end of September. We're planning to do these, I think, monthly, but of course we'll kind of take community feedback and ramp that up or down based on what seems to make sense and how we grow and everything that goes on. So, but for now, I expect this to be probably roughly a once a month thing. And in the future, if you have any topics or areas of interest you want us to include in our agenda, you can let us know via email or Facebook or however you want to reach any of us. So feel free to input. This is definitely meant to be a two-way conversation. And to that end, once we get through our main agenda, we will open the floor for Q&A. If you want to drop a question into the chat in Zoom, feel free to do that. If you want to wait until the Q&A and kind of just call out, that's fine as well. So what we'll do, we'll cover just a review of core values. Then we'll go through some committee updates from the different committees that have been working behind the scenes on organizational issues. We'll talk about some of the successes we've had since our launch a few weeks ago, go over the numbers of that launch, and then talk through a few things that we talked about in our launch meeting but haven't really started working on yet, and give you a quick update on where we are with those and what we expect moving forward, and then again, expect to move into Q&A. So we want to keep reiterating these core values. They're going to be available on the website. We're probably going to do some more explainer content around them as we flesh out mission statement and bylaws. But we do want to kind of set the tone for these meetings and everything that we do at Highwire Improv by reiterating these core values. They are transparency, which we hope meetings like this help to provide to the community about what's going on. Safety, which covers physical safety, psychological safety, freedom, and artistic safety for everybody in our community. The community itself is a value in our motto of community first. We're here to work together to serve each other and lift up everyone who's working in improv in Baltimore and beyond, with us being virtual and global in that way. And then action, that we are going to take feedback. We're here to see what people think. We're here to solve problems, and we're not here to just let the status quo be the status quo. If things need to be improved, we should take action to improve them. Awesome, and just let Rob in, great. And so getting right into some of our updates, for those who haven't been in some of the previous meetings, we have 5 committees. We'll go through the updates on those. A lot of activity on the operations side of things. This is mostly behind the scenes stuff, but it's really important as we get from our kind of proto-organization status to a fully fledged organization on the path to submitting documents to become a 501c3 nonprofit. In the past 6 weeks, we have made some good steps, and we're now officially an incorporation, but not yet a nonprofit incorporation. So we've got our incorporating documents filed. We have a tax ID number from the government, and we now have a bank account set up. So that is going to allow us to open up a bunch of other things that we want to do, in terms of accepting payment for classes that we are going to work on. It allows us to accept donations, and also allows us to move forward with some of the next steps around bylaws and mission statement, so that we can start to form a board and file paperwork to become 501c3. Kind of beyond some of the organizational operations, we've also set up and documented our roles and responsibilities for our kind of 2 main volunteer roles at the moment. We'll talk a little bit about the people who've been volunteering later on, but for most of our activity right now, that's focused on shows and programming, and so we've kind of documented what we expect the tech person running the Zoom for our shows and our host/audience liaison roles to do. And connected that to an initial code of conduct that we launched and posted on the website and sent to all of our performers for season 1. That's been sent out to the community and reviewed, and the teams that are performing with us are now reading that and signing up to abide by that code of conduct. And that's not kind of tied into what our volunteers do as well. These are definitely kind of first steps in terms of operational policy. There's going to be more to come on that. but it gives us a good baseline for everything that we're doing in the first few months here. We also had a lunch party, which was really awesome and a lot of fun, and reflects our desire to make everything that we do here for the community. We want to make sure we're not just putting shows out there to boost Highwire's numbers. We're providing the space for people to come together and have a good time and get more out of it than we do. So in terms of what's coming up next, we are finalizing mission statement and working on draft of bylaws. We're going to kick off the work to establish this payment pathways I mentioned, and then between this committee as well as the anti-racism and anti-discrimination committee that I'll talk about next, working to extend our policies to be both more specific, so having individual policies that need to be broken out from a code of conduct and go into more detail on things like sexual harassment policy, anti-discrimination policy, et cetera, as well as investigate both internal and external reporting processes for things like that. So how do we handle issues when they come up? How do we make sure we are staffed and ready to support keeping everybody in the community feeling like this is a safe environment and having clear ways for them to communicate when that's been violated and clear ways to address those issues. So a lot of the focus early on is making sure we get those things squared away and have a really good foundation for community members moving among the different activities that we have in a way everybody feels comfortable with. Speaking of the Anti-Racism Committee, the large amount of our focus in the first few weeks has been in setting up and launching our first anti-racism training program. If you haven't seen the email for that, we started that last week with 30 participants, both including Baltimore and non-Baltimore based people. It's a 3-part workshop that's in progress now that we are going to utilize to form some of the more tactical elements of our anti-racism and anti-discrimination policies that we didn't want to get into without having done some more of this work as a community, right? So that's going to include things like working on a collaborative anti-racism vocabulary, as well as more specific tactics to go into the 2021 calendar year. We've also begun working with the Black Improv Alliance. Black Improv Alliance, if you haven't seen them before, is a fantastic organization. They are focused largely on opening up opportunities for Black improvisers to take classes in improv, largely, mostly 101 classes, although they're starting to expand their operations to cover more advanced classes. They also do shows and workshops and stuff like that. But we are working with them and expect in 2021, now that we have, bank account and can pay for things and stuff like that, to start funding scholarships for improvisers either at other theaters or when we start to have workshops and classes at Highwire, and sponsoring for groups of Black students to take a class together, which is kind of their main thrust and effort today. As mentioned, we have the initial code of conduct published, and we also have an initial anti-racism approach published on the website as well. Again, that's really more about how we look at anti-racism. A lot of it was covered in the launch meeting around how anti-racism work is ongoing. It never stops within Highwire and has to be a planning priority across all of our committees. And the work that we're doing in this training program will extend that to be more tactical and more specific in how we actually interact with things like programming and education moving forward. In addition to those things, the other things that we're working on next are launching our Walking the Talk discussion show as part of season 1 programming. That's going to be an interactive discussion program that happens between members of the Highwire community as well as other improv communities to talk about the realities of how we actually make better policies. How do we actually take these ideas of anti-racism, of anti-misogyny, anti-homophobia, anti-transphobia, and enact them in practice. So while there have been other content that's been going on, like socially distant improvs, anti-racism for comedy folks, we're trying to provide a little bit of a different niche here that's a little bit more organizational and policy focused, really tactical ideas that other theaters can collaborate on and use. And we'll also be working to review and respond to the We See You White American Theater demands that were published earlier this year, largely written in the context of scripted theater, but they have a lot of applications for improv theater as well, and I think provide, at the very least, a really good framework for discussion about how we can move into the next year with better policies, especially as bigger decisions for the organization, like finding a space, start to come up when we get into later next year. With that, I will pass it over to Brian, I think.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Yeah, programming committee is kind of in a little bit of a lull because we did the heavy lifting of getting all the shows scheduled. And I want to thank the folks who were involved in that, making sure that we have a very fun schedule, very full schedule. If you don't know, we're going to have programming every night of the week, with the exception of a few days off for Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays. So, excuse me. Getting that that schedule put together was a lot of work, and I'm really thankful for Jeff, Millie, and Alexa for being on the front line of that, but then also for all the team liaisons for being great at working with us when we had some issues. Really happy that we've only had a handful of people who've had stuff come up, and it hasn't been onerous to make some changes. So I'm really excited about that. We've also tacked on to the original schedule some special holiday programming. If you were on the Facebook group, some of the Baltimore Facebook groups, you know, we are adding a improvised Thanksgiving Day parade on Black Friday night. So more information will be going out to the mailing list about that, but it's just going to be a weird and fun night to fill a night of programming that might be hard for teams to get together. So we're going to do that. And Millie Hoffman is putting together Fa La 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 Laughs. I think that's what the final name is, which is 8 nights of special holiday programming starting December 1st, which will mainly be Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. So yeah, getting everything together was really, really satisfying because we knew there were a lot of moving parts, but it all has worked out well. And as you'll see in the numbers later, has already started to resonate with people who are watching and getting involved. What's up next is we're trying to find a time where we can get a critical mass of people together on the committee to meet to talk about season 2. Season 2, we want to look at what we've done this season. It's going to be hard to tell exactly what is working and what isn't working for a while, but we'll have some basic ideas. Also, we want to look at teams that are doing improv online elsewhere and maybe reach out to them and ask them if they want to be involved with season 2. Maybe look at some special programming for Black History Month. There's some other things happening in the time frame of that season 2, and just see how we want to approach that, the best way to do it. And if kind of the time frames we've set out, the hour-long shows, if that's the right philosophy, how we're working with these international teams to get them on in times that is accessible both for them and for us. So that's going to be the big lift that we'll hopefully get started on soon. I think Sunday is when we're going to meet. So hopefully we'll have more information later.
All right. I'm Jeff, for those who don't know me. Just some updates on what marketing committee is doing. So we've created the daily and weekly promotional images. They're wonderful. They'll, we share the weekly one at the beginning of the week. So if your show is coming up, check the Facebook page, check Instagram, and then you can then share the weekly one. And then we are creating events with the daily show, and not the daily show, but like the daily. The improv teams that are performing that day, and they'll be available to share around too. We've created some really cool. I say we. I didn't do any of this, but we're gonna give some kudos to some people later about who helped specifically with this. But the monthly videos were created. They're really cool graphic. November is like a weather update. I don't know if you haven't seen it. I think it's a pinned video on our Facebook page. Go to our Facebook page and check it out. And check it. Make sure you're following us, sharing. and commenting, especially during shows. We had some really fun YouTube chat during the Adam and Eve show on Saturday. It was almost primarily people from India, but there must have been, I don't know what, Brian, was there at least 5 to 10 people at some point.
Yeah.
Just having their own conversations and talking about the show and quoting lines. It was really fun. We really want to like encourage that kind of interaction during shows. Just to help the online experience be a little more, I don't know, better. Is that the word? Okay. So what we are working on coming up is a more, umbrella type brand and PR strategy, something, to, people can, oh, the Highwire. That's the kind of thing we're looking at now, where they see something or they hear about something and their mind automatically goes to Highwire Improv. Those are the people that are doing that. And we want to reach out to the non-improviser and non-pop-up crowd. And also, this probably has more to do with once the educational program, but we're also looking into reaching out to the community to get people into improv that aren't yet. We can do that through social media. We can do that through, there's a lot of ways we can do that digitally and not in person. And then finally, that sweet merch. We talked about buttons, stickers, shirts, and sending like a goodie bag out to all the teams from the first season, and that is happening. All right, that's all for me and marketing. And next up, Kristen.
Everybody, I'm Kristen. Okay, so education committee. So yeah, we have classes that we've sort of vetted from other theaters that are available, linked on our website. So anyone who's coming to our website that wants recommendations for where they can get started with improv if they've never done before, or even if they have been doing improv for a while and maybe want to take a class, take an elective, whatever, we have that on our website. We have the initial model for the education program. So I'm just going to briefly just look at some of my notes here. I don't know how deep y'all want me to get. But yeah, so we basically decided we're going to have 2 major tracks. We're going to have like a narrative and a game track. And the end of the game track is going to be, you get on a Herald team eventually, and the end of the narrative track is you will, and we're going to have like a conservatory program for both of these. The end of the narrative track would be, maybe you do a mono scene or a 2-act improvised play, something like that. We are also going to have, we've sort of called it like a rec track in the past, but I think it's going to look more like we're going to have sort of drop-in workshops and classes available basically all the time, like sort of skill-based things for people, if you don't have the time or the want to be fully immersed in like one of the tracks or both of the tracks, there will still be opportunities for you to, brush up on skills, maybe learn a new format. It'll be kind of akin to those of us who came up through Big, the sort of caucus program. We're thinking there might be something like that as well, where you are with a group of people for maybe 4 weeks, you learn a new format, and then you perform it, and then you go on. This also is going to probably be a good place to have like a training ground for like newer teachers, people who want to get more experience coaching, things like that. So we're going to have like the main sort of educational program with the 2 tracks, and then sort of a separate one that's like less serious, I guess. We are currently, Andy McIntyre and Alexa are working on our 101 and 102 courses. So those will be basically the prereqs that everyone has to take before you choose your track. So there'll be like 101, 102, where you learn like the basics of improv, and then you will move on. You can choose your track. So that's kind of where we are there. Let's see. Workshops, we will be offering workshops this winter. I've reached out to a bunch of people. I am still in the process of getting people sort of scheduled, but we should have those up soon. So we're going to have winter workshops. And if anybody here, if you have a workshop that you would like to pitch and teach, definitely reach out to me. You can just email the Highwire email, or I can put my email in here. Have something you'd like to pitch, definitely reach out, because we want really like a variety of stuff. We want to have like maybe some introductory improv stuff, but then if you have like a super specialized, like if you want to do a 2-weekend workshop on the Spokane or something, like that's definitely a possibility as well. Because realistically, we're not going to have a curriculum up for a while, like 1.5 to 2 years probably. So yeah, maybe less, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, and yeah, we've talked a lot about the diversity, anti-racist aspects of planning our curriculum. We've talked a lot about what does anti-racist curriculum look like, how do we reach underserved populations, so all of that is still very much in the conversation. If anyone, has any experience with education or any of this stuff, and you want, you don't even necessarily have to like join the education committee, but if you want to come to a meeting and have a conversation or add feedback or whatever, you're definitely welcome to do so. Our next meeting is tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I believe. Let's see, was that it? I think that was everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sandy, I saw you raise your hand, I think, to indicate a question.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I was trying to go back through my email to see who I've been talking to. Has that been you, Mary, about non-comedy workshops?
Yes.
And using improv?
That's right. Yeah, and some of the programming we've been discussing about using improv for people with traumatic brain injury and stuff like that. And I will be passing you along to Kristen and another woman in our community, Biz, who I think is actually on the call tonight. So yeah, I'll make that connection for sure. Yeah.
Great.
Yes, I'm here. I'm just driving. Hello.
Yeah. Great.
I'm sitting in a parking lot.
Yeah. We're making it
I love
work.
it.
Yeah, Sandy, yes, we can definitely talk for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to write your email here.
And you can always just email the Highwire and it'll get to me. So I guess up next, like I said, I'm still in the process of recruiting teachers for winter classes, and we're just establishing basically everything, standards and process for bringing teachers on. Everyone will go through anti-racist training of some kind. So.
Great.
Okay. Oh, and here are the shout outs. Let's see. We have some really friggin' amazing people who are donating their time to Highwire. In addition to all of the amazing performers we have, there's a few people on this call. Let's see, there's Corey, who has made, he's been working on the little team graphics for us, like each day when we post like the little graphic with the shows. That's been an effort by Corey. Genevieve O'Keefe, who has, she made our logo. She did the poster that you see over here on the left-hand side, the inaugural season poster, and also David Lustig. Corey, in the bottom right-hand corner there, he made this like incredible video. It's improv, but as like the Weather Channel. So as you can see, each day is predicted with these different troops. Very adorable, very, very smart. It was really, we don't do enough with the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I just want to jump in real quick. The folks at the Armory Theater up in New York were very jealous of our graphics. So Corey has gotten a shout out there. So yeah, it's great to see that we're already making other theaters mad.
and we have a lot of people who have volunteered to run tech for us and to host. I probably don't know every single person that's done it, but we've had Millie, we've had Brandon, I think we've had Brian, Jeff, Corey,
Jess,
Eileen.
Jeff,
Jess.
Eileen,
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
Robin, lots of people, and we're very grateful to them. And then up there in the upper right-hand corner here, we have a little screenshot that was taken of the Sunday night jam that Millie is running every Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Super fun. It's a great way to, just play with some people. We do a montage. It's a great way to get some reps. It's not anything serious. We have a really good time. And, we see kind of a regular set of faces, but every week or so, I feel like there's one or two people that that join in. So that's really fun. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, did you want me to read this?
I think Brian's got the next two.
Yeah. This is the geeky stuff I love. As you can see, these numbers are just fantastic. The number of teams and shows and performers we have. And on Saturday, we had performers from, I can't find my list right now, but it was India, the UK, Austin, Los Angeles, Dallas, Atlanta,
Hartford,
Rhode Island, because Dan Gibson's up in Rhode Island, DC, and then Corey had people from all over and pop off too. So it was just amazing. Our Facebook and Instagram likes and follows are getting up there, and to see people sharing everything is just fantastic. The Instagram stories, people are reacting and sharing, and that's a great way to get the word out. As of this morning, we'd had 926 YouTube views in 11 days. 320 unique people, according to Google, have watched our stuff. A number I don't have in here, I forgot to grab it, was that the average viewing time of people on our channel is something like between 10 and 14 minutes. People are watching, people are not just popping in. And when we discussed whether we would keep using YouTube or switch to another platform, I'm not familiar with viewing stats on Twitch, but if we went to Facebook, our viewing time would not be that much. People would get distracted by something else on Facebook and scroll away, and the video would stop, because that happens all the time. So I think we're really happy with the numbers we're getting, and by setting the redirect of highwireimprov.com/live, taking people directly to the YouTube page, I think that's helpful. We have 73 subscriptions, and we have 40 plus people volunteering. That includes all the committee members and the people who are teching and hosting and doing all that. And not what we didn't include in the hosting is also the people who were hosting on nights they perform where we just don't have someone, or people were overloaded. Tashika hosted one night last week. Katie Overby hosted her show. Hannah will be doing her own show tonight. So we always appreciate when you are one of the performers and you can step in and do that, because it just takes a little bit of the load off of the people who are doing lots of things. And we know you can do it. So we can go to the next one, Barry. So this is the day-by-day viewing. As you can see, obviously the weekends are pretty high. The first Saturday was 129. The second Saturday is 252. That's when we had the morning, afternoon, and evening shows. And the evening, starting with After School Grandma and Tampoon at 8, and then Half Scripted, and then Pop Off. It didn't get below double digits in live viewers until like 11:15, 11:30, because Pop Off went till midnight. So it was a very solid crowd the whole night long. And what I'm really liking is seeing the number of people watching on Sundays and Mondays. That means people heard something happen and are catching up.
Yeah.
And that's good. And I think we're going to start I might start uploading a show to YouTube, I mean, to Facebook, or cutting a minute out of it and directing people to YouTube for it. We're going to figure out ways just to get more people over there.
Yep.
And, you know, middle of the week, it goes down a little bit, but every show is available on YouTube. They're all edited as their own individual shows, except for last night's because we haven't done it yet. But, you know, I think that's a great thing that we can do to get people to watch, send people to their stuff over and over again so that we can get more viewers.
Great. Last piece before we open it up the floor for Q&A. Just wanted to call out a few things that we talked about in the launch meeting, but either haven't started yet or we don't think are going to start by the end of the year, but we're still doing. The big things are these four here. You know, the first is setting up a donation infrastructure, which I mentioned. I think we expect that to happen this year still, get all that set up. We are probably going to think hard about how much we want to push donations until we are a 501c3, because obviously you get the tax deductible component to that. And we don't really, thankfully need a lot of money right now because we have no physical space. And obviously all the products that we put out will have, for workshops and stuff will be paid for by the individuals. We are trying to set up good funds for just existence of the organization in case, something goes wrong in the world and we have to have some cash reserves. That might be important. And then also starting to build up a budget for the ongoing anti-racism work that's going to have regular kind of, expenses associated with it. So expect to draft and agree some bylaws among the community, at least get a draft that is written and shared with the community for feedback. Expect to do that this year. But we do expect that recruiting and forming the first board, as well as then taking that board, ratifying the bylaws and applying for 501c3 status, that's going to take beyond the end of December in all likelihood. People have a lot going on. We also want to take our time and get this right in terms of how we set up the organization. And so, we don't think that we're going to rush through that by the end of the year. It doesn't really impact us day to day, other than the fact that until we do that 501c3 status, we can't accept tax deductible donations, and we have some open organizational structures that we want to make a little bit more official. But yeah, given what we're trying to do right now, don't expect that to be a major problem or risk, and we'd rather do it right with all the input of the community that we expect. So. All right, that is our prepared content for today. So thank you all for joining and listening, and I'd love to open it up for any Q&A before we stop the recording and make this available for others. And we have a small enough group here on the Zoom that if you just want to chime in vocally, that's fine. Or if you want to put something in the chat, that's okay as well.
Not really a question on that, but
Yeah.
out of curiosity, what group did you have from Atlanta?
Did we have a whole group from Atlanta?
It was
Trajectory
Improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of them was staying with their parents
Yeah, that's right.
somewhere.
Yeah,
But other than that,
they're based in Atlanta.
They're based out of Atlanta. Yeah.
I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, I don't know which theater they're, or if they're affiliated with the theater. I had looked at their stuff when we vetted everything, but I forgot.
Oh, that's the group name, not the
not the theater.
Yeah, right.
Not the theater. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlanta's kind of lacking improv. Quality improv.
Dad's Garage just got their building demolished.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
They were in a church.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Bought a church. Yeah, they're on the other side of town.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've gotten to be a little bit of a snob.
Cool. Awesome.
You guys have been busy.
We have been busy. Yeah.
How did you pick your name? Because I think, Barry, when I first reached out and I thought, oh, are you the Atlanta group that's relocated?
It just came out of some brainstorming. You know, we've heard Highwire, you know, we've heard improv described as a Highwire act, and you know, we thought it reflected, you know, that feeling of kind of creation that feels risky but has a safety net beneath it, which the community provides for us. So I thought it was reflective of what we're trying to do.
That's cool.
Yeah, we kicked around a lot of like sort of Baltimore centric names, but
Yeah.
nothing really hit until we heard Highwire.
Awesome.
Does anyone have any fun stories from the last week they want to share?
Otherwise, join us on YouTube for Hama Live at 7.
Yes.
There it is.
And
Oh, look at
definitely,
that.
and definitely, if anyone thinks of anything later on, you can always email just highwireimprov@gmail.com. You know, if you think of something or anything at all.
Excellent. All right. Well, join us on YouTube. Join us for the next one. Yeah, and yeah, thank you all for being here. It's really
appreciate it.
nice.
Be safe, everyone.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care.
Take care, everyone.
See y'all.
Everybody, thank you.